Becoming Awesome with Peter D. Expand your consciousness. Hello, welcome to Becoming Awesome. I'm Peter D. Today we have a special episode where I'm going to take part of the class that I've recently taught on how to use the Manifestation Accelerator that was created by Inelia Benz. So we're going to just dive into those teachings in just a moment. Before we do, please remember, you can help out the computer algorithm, let people find this podcast if you like, subscribe, follow, and share. That'll help spread the message around with the computer and with everybody who's ready to move into higher states of awakening. Okay, having said that, let's dive right into the teachings and learn about how to supercharge our abilities to manifest using Inelia Benz technique that she calls the Manifestation Accelerator. We're going to cover some more of Inelia Benz work. I love Inelia. I don't like everything she teaches. A lot of it doesn't resonate with me. A lot of it's like, but some stuff that she teaches is like, oh my God, this is gold. And so I just really enjoy that. And we're going to learn about her Manifestation Accelerator. That's what she calls it. And it's a process to remove firewalls. And she's got like a 40-minute video, which is this link here. So if you want to go to that first link, you can listen to the whole thing there. You can also teach courses as well. So if you want to actually go and become a student and do that kind of thing, her website is Walk With Me Now. All righty. So now, if you're feeling blocked, like nothing seems to work, you keep trying something and trying it and it doesn't work, or it works and then evaporates quickly, okay? Those are signs that you have a firewall. There's something in you that's keeping you from living what you're trying to create, all right? And usually that program is unconscious and hard to access. I know I've worked with some of you in this class, and it's been fun to watch the firewall process get uncovered. It's been fun when some of us hit our realizations and go, oh my God, what this? So what we're going to do is we're going to be conscious about that last line of defense that's keeping us from getting to where we want to be. So a firewall is an unconscious program running that prevents you from executing conscious programs you desire. What I want to do is talk about how Inelia Benz has taught how we can unlock our firewalls. Now, a firewall is usually identified with these kinds of statements. I can't. This doesn't work for me. I'm too hurt, too broken. I can't do that. It's so hard. I try and it's so hard. And then, of course, the one I don't deserve it. We've been taught not to deserve so much. So these programs are very, very real programs. And if you hold any of these programs and similar programs, then you're not going to be able to really enjoy the kind of life you have the ability to create. That's why we're moving into 5D. That's what we're owning our co-creative abilities, owning that there's God inside of us. We're the physical expression, this aspect of God. I call it the Lord God of my being. You can call it whatever you choose to do, source, higher self, whatever. It doesn't really care. It just is glad that you acknowledge it. Anyway, firewalls are what's keeping us from really making that final expression. So now she's got this 10-step process. You don't need to write any of this stuff down. I just screenshot this off of her video. So any of this misspelling is hers, I'm happy to say, because I have plenty of my own, but they're not in this slide here. And, basically is you go inside and you find the I can't. You find what that blockage is. And then you kind of sense it physically. You look at it as an energy, not as a thought or a program or a series of code. You look at it as an energy and you try to find out where it is in your field. So you're dealing with this on an energetic level, an etheric level. Then you interpret it. You give it something you can latch onto as an interpretation, a color, a shape, a flavor. And you don't do it with negative judging terms or good, positive, glowing terms. You just do neutral terms. This energy is here. It's like a round ball, or it's like a gray steel thing that kind of feels like it's kind of creating some cutting in me or something like that, right? So then you observe it. You observe it and you allow it to exist. And remember what I've been talking to you about in the past, okay? Awareness is the first step. Awareness is the last step. I cannot stress that enough. That is like so key to everything. You just observe it and you allow it to exist. Then after you observe it, you create a relationship with it and you allow it to express itself to you. You actually ask it, okay, reveal what you want to reveal. Speak to me, show me, let me feel it, whatever. And it may choose to reveal itself and it may choose not to reveal itself at all. And that's part of its expression. And you just be aware that it's not revealing or that it is revealing whatever it is. Then you got to interpret the information. We're going to get into more of that after we actually do the process, because sometimes we interpret information and we just make stories up because we've been programmed with other stories. All right. And so we're going to have to do a little bit about discernment, which you're all pretty good at by now. And I've mentioned to you before, but you're all really, everybody I've talked to knows how to do discernment, but we're going to go over that as well. And then you ask it, am I ready to let go? Am I ready to let go? And it will tell you yes or no. And if it's a yes, you actually take it outside yourself and see what it feels like to not have that energy there anymore. It may be release, it may be relief, it may just be whatever, but you then notice the new state of being, which is then becomes your marker, your way shower for how you want to be, because you don't have that with you anymore. And if it's a no, it's not ready to let go, then you just observe it again, okay? Because it's only a matter of time, because anything fully expressed turns to bliss. Remember that second teaching I've been giving you. Anything fully expressed turns to bliss. So by actually just being with it daily or however often you choose, just to be with it and say, okay, express yourself. Eventually it will evolve. It will turn into something that's no longer a firewall for you. Okay? So that's how that whole process works. Are you guys ready to try this? We're just going to dive right in and do this.
Please don't do this exercise if you're driving. Please wait till you'll be home so you can concentrate on the road and be totally safe and protected while you do this process.
So go ahead and get yourself comfortable. Take a nice breath. We're going to spend about 10 minutes being in this process. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Inelia Benz. The movie The Secret was a great introduction, or should I say remembrance, of how our reality works and how we can use our ability to manifest things. But it was just the introduction, and it did not go into detail about what to do when you run into blocks. And while positive thinking is good, same as positive affirmations, they still take you only halfway when a firewall or a stop arises in your consciousness. It also does not address the issues that come up when other people or internal programs are busy working on manifestations that are contrary to the ones you're trying to bring forth. Once you learn how to find and dissolve these blocks, programs, and firewalls, your manifestation abilities will take off. At its core, the Manifestation Accelerator is a processing technique that enables you to remove the firewall you run into. It is the tool to use when other tools stop working or they are working very slowly. When you feel stuck, think about something that starts with I can't or ends with I can do this or that. Say that phrase out loud to yourself and pay attention to where you feel the vibration of those words. It could be in your physical body, your energetic body, or your mental body. It might also be in your emotional body. Look for it and find it. Once you find it, look at it and interpret it as a color, or a flavor, or a shape. You do this so you can simply look at it and observe it without judgment. For example, you can say, "This block looks like a bright red ball," but don't say, "It looks like an evil red monster." Okay? Very important, don't try to get rid of it. Just observe and allow it to exist there. You look at it with curiosity and interest, but not with judgment. Now, as you observe it, welcome all the information that comes with it. It could be words, images, feelings. Whatever it wants to express to you, welcome it. Sometimes, the program doesn't want to express anything to you. In that case, welcome the silence. The information that comes to you, you need to interpret based on your personal vocabulary. Nobody needs to interpret that for you. Just ask yourself, what does this information represent to me? If you interpret it wrong, you would feel some dissonance in your field, and you know you didn't quite understand it yet. As you allow this shape, color, flavor to exist, ask yourself, am I ready to let it go? Sometimes you get a clear yes, but sometimes you may get a no, or not now, or I want to learn more, or some other kind of answer that implies you're not ready to let it go of it yet. If you get a clear yes, imagine grabbing it from wherever it's located and gently unlocking it and pulling it out of you. Now just hold it in your hands and see how you feel without it in your field. at this moment, you can either put it back or hold it in your hands for a few days, or you can just let it poof, release it back to source. If you did not get a clear yes, don't worry. It is simply a matter of time. What you do in this case is that when you get a no, or not sure, not yet, anything that's not a clear yes, simply infuse the color program with source energy. This is not done to get rid of it, it is done to raise its frequency. Simply infuse the entire bundle of shape, color, words with source energy and tell it you will revisit and ask again tomorrow.
So I hope that was a sweet little process for you. That was excerpted from the link I showed you earlier where the whole thing was online. That's free, that you can just enjoy. And yeah, every time I do this, it's like I get better at it and it just, stuff happens. So I want to go through a couple of things that may be up for some of you who are new to this. First thing is that because we've had these programs in us for so long, we may unconsciously just bring them back. We may be used to doing what we did yesterday. So today, rather than do something new, we're going to still act like we're under that burden and stuff. And so we'll just unconsciously do it and then bring it back. So just be aware if you're still operating under the old system and do the process again. You know, it'll just be clear for you. Now, it's very common that behind a firewall, you'll find other firewalls. This is very common. For example, I'm going through a major health detox. I'm rewriting my entire internal script. It was funny when my doc was talking to me, he was saying, yeah, this is going to kick your ass. This is pretty hard, but I keep getting that your body wants to take all these challenges on at once. I'm not going to go into telling you stories about what I was going through, but it was a lot and it was serious. And so I said, okay, I've got this pattern through my life where I would be very healthy and get fit and get exercise and get in shape, and then boom, something would hit me and it'd set me back. And this cycle's been going on for at least a decade, all right, where I just cannot stay healthy. And it's always something different dragging me down. And so the first time I did this firewall exercise, when I was camping a few weeks ago, I realized that, wow, as a child, I wasn't feeling like I was loved enough. And so if I was sick, people would stop what they were doing. They were being nice to me. So I had a program telling me that being sick and being ill is how I get love. And now that I'm not a child and I've got a great relationship and stuff, the program's still running and it's not very useful. So I thought that was a great realization. But then just a couple of days ago, I was meditating inside my pyramid and I was doing some visioning of my future about health. And all of a sudden I'm in the middle of this process. And I've learned enough to know that when my consciousness takes me to a process, when my divine, my unconscious goes there, follow it. So I'm in this process and I realized that also when I was young, when I would get sick, I would overcome the illness eventually. I would heal and I'd overcome the illness. And I would use that as a sign of pride. Because again, I wasn't feeling like the adults around me were loving me and stuff. And so I'd sit there and I'd go, oh man, look what I was able to do. I can overcome this. And so now I'm finding that a second firewall is that I would create illnesses simply so that I could say, oh, this is really terrible and really hard and really bad. And look, I healed, right? Because it's a cycle of significance gaining. But it keeps me getting sick constantly. And I was like, wow. So I talked to my little boy and I said, look what you started. Here I am, this beautiful man with this great level of consciousness. And I'm able to see this because you planted this root in me. And I'm excited about letting it go. What do you think? And it was like, yeah, let's let it go. Let's go do something else because you're getting everything you want better, when you're healthy. So that was easy. So I've been actually felt better. I felt really terrible that day and then really great today. I'm like, oh, this is clear and I'm feeling good. And so I just did the process again with you. And again, there was another firewall behind that. I'm like, oh my God. And I would tell you what that firewall was, but part of what I'm going through in this detox is my memory escapes me after just a few moments. So I can't really tell you what it was, but it's going to come back to me. I know this. I know what it was. I got it now. I was feeling this energy in my throat, kind of a gaseous little thing, kind of fizzy, bubbling thing, because I've had these surgeries there. And the surgeries were from sleep apnea and getting my jaw rebuilt and all this stuff. And I realized as a process of these surgeries was this underlay of, I can't heal myself. I've got to go to some expert who needs to cut me apart and sew me together and pull things out in order for me to be well. That I don't have it in me because I'm not the sacred healer. Somebody else has got to do it. It's got to be physical and it's got to be big. And again, that whole thing about the big thing and recovering from it, the old firewalls. So I just said, wow. So I got this belief that I can't really heal. And I'm like, you guys ready to let that one go? And they're like, yeah. So that was very, very nice. So who knows how many more layers there are to this? All I know is that I'm fishing and I'm catching fish and I'm taking them out of the stream. So it's no longer creating this for me and I'm becoming somebody new every day. So it's very common to have firewalls behind firewalls behind firewalls. Now, the third thing on this list is if you can't see your firewalls, ask your friends to point it out to you. Do you have people who talk with oh, I can't do this, or that's just not possible, or no, this never happens for me, the wah kind of stuff. And even at our level of consciousness and our level of awakening, we often unconsciously talk about, oh, this is how it is, or this is the story I've been telling my whole life, or oh, this just doesn't work for me. And so if you're not aware of what your own firewalls are, ask your friends to point them out to you. It's got to be loving and you got to trust that you've asked for this, because some of them, like me, will just say it unconsciously a dozen times and not even know I've said it, that's my firewall, the I can't words, the why it's not in me words. A couple of things that may come up is that you can't do this exercise. I know somebody who once adamantly told me they couldn't meditate, all right? And like it was a place to be rather than an attempt of doing something. They just couldn't meditate. So if you can't do this exercise, then do the firewall process on not being able to do the firewall process. Okay. That's how you deal with that. The same thing is if you go look for your firewall and you can't find, oh, there's nothing there, I'm not getting any information. Do the firewall process on not being able to find the firewall. Okay. Now, the important thing is just don't try to get rid of it. I think from what Inelia Benz said is what you resist persists. That's why you don't fight your blocks. You just observe them. And when you feel ready, you let them go. But you don't judge them and you don't fight them. That's the whole big thing, is you just be aware. Awareness is the transformation. Now, this will help you if you have the ability to do discernment. So let's talk about discernment for just a minute. How can we tell when we're in dissonance? In other words, is the information we're getting correct? Are we on the right path to clearing, right? When you think that, there's conflicting thoughts in your mind and stuff, how do you deal with that? Well, the easiest way is to use your body as a truth resonance detector, because this is innate in all of us. And the more you practice it, the more you're going to do it. Your body knows when it's around truth and it knows when it's around lies. And we've been lied to so much that, it may seem confusing at first, but once you practice it, I mean, I cannot believe, since I've been practicing it the last few months, the discernment, like when the whole COVID thing started, I'm like, oh my God, I instantly knew things were not what it was being presented to me, right? I instantly knew that. I had this inheritance, or maybe I don't even know what it is yet, that might be coming to me. And I was talking to a family member about it, and I instantly knew something was creepy going on with this family member. And then I talked to other family members, and I found, oh, yeah, there's history here. Okay. So your discernment will come to you if you practice it. So how do you do that? You make a statement that's true and you see how it feels. And then you make a statement that's false and you see how that feels. And then you compare the feelings. All right. So my name is Peter. And I just stop and I feel what's going on in my body. My name is Fred Flintstone. And I stop and I feel what's going on in my body. And then I make the statement about what I think is true or not, what information I got from my process of the firewall. Was that information true? Oh, that feels just like when I said my name. All right. And if so, I know it's true. But if it felt like when I said I'm Fred Flintstone, then I know this is not wise. It's just my mind spinning. It's not wisdom that I want to pay attention to. So I really want you to practice the discernment thing. If you're not doing it already, I'm really hoping you'll do that. It's such a good tool. So many things just come to you. It's like very, very simple, but you got to practice it. Okay, that is our Manifestation Accelerator firewall exercise.
I hope you enjoyed the Manifestation Accelerator process by Inelia Benz. Remember, you can learn more and join with a tribe of like people by going to Walk With Me Now, which is Inelia Benz' website, where she provides teaching, wisdom, and more processes and classes like this one. That's walkwithmenow.com. And please remember, this is the age of YouTube. This is the age of Facebook. Please like, please subscribe, please follow, and please share. Your support allows the computer algorithm to send this information to more people who are going to need just maybe a little bit of new ideas and access to really embrace what's coming down in the golden age. Thanks for being part of this transition. Thanks for supporting Becoming Awesome. Many blessings to you.